Welcome to our channel, ladies and gentlemen. President William Samoei Ruto is a man who loves cameras. He is really investing in PR, public relations. In fact, he has crafted an image of an international figure, a president who is advocating for climate change, measures to be taken, the climate change. When he attended the United Nations Forum, the president of the USA recognized him, calling out his name for accepting to lead peacekeeping in Haiti by sending 1,000 policemen against the chagrin and criticism of experts back at home. While attending the European Parliament, he gave a stunning keynote speech and they gave him a standing ovation. And he was talking about the interest that Africans are being charged when they get loans, and he was trying to rally the support of the European Union to support Africa. After giving him a standing ovation, they still voted against William Ruto's wishes. Recently, he won the African Personality of the Year, courtesy of the African Leadership magazine. So he's a man who has got a lot of accolades on his back. But then, when you, on the other flip side, William Ruto is a man who is, being criticized left, right, and center. Today, BBC described him in a manner that did not please the Kenyan government. In this tweet that has been going viral, BBC called him William Ruto, the tax collector president, sparkling Kenyans' anger. And I think if there is a media house that has ever summarized who William Ruto is, then it is the British Broadcasting Corporation. William Ruto, the tax collector president, sparkling Kenyans' anger. Of course, this did not go down well with the Kenyan staff. And of course, the government spokesperson and the Ministry of Foreign Affairs have rebutted and they have criticized very sharply this media house. But then, I want us to ask one question. Do you think there is gainsaying in exaggerating this? Because back at home, our president is being called Zakayo Mtoza Ushuru, Zacchaeus the tax collector, because they have proposed taxes on almost everything. There is a joke back in my country that the only thing that has been left is the oxygen that we breathe. And people back here in Kenya believe that if William Ruto had the chance or the authority to tax oxygen, they would have proposed it. In fact, Kimani Ichung'wah would have taken a bill to parliament to tax oxygen. Our president, despite the fact that he's being vexed by being called Zakayo, by being called Zacchaeus or the tax collector, it is himself, or it is he who gave himself this kind of a name. Names are given according to your traits. This time round, he has been placed where he belongs. But is it the first time that our president is being exposed? If you ask me, no. I remember the United Nations Deputy Secretary General, Amina, exposed William Ruto that the first time they met, her instincts informed her that she could not trust William Samoei Ruto. And these were hidden secrets at the archives in the USA until some gentleman went there and exposed it. Of course, in that dossier, there were other things, among them the war between Ukraine and Russia and the American role there. So this is one of the most recognizable international figures, the Deputy United Nations Secretary General, saying that she could not trust William Ruto. Back at home, we cannot trust him, because one of the debate that is going on is the level of trust between the citizens and the government of Kenya. Our president will tell you something today, and tomorrow he will negate it without blinking, and he does not care. Of course, you all know that he even quotes some wrong Bible, verses, and he does not care. So it's not the first time. Recently, when he went to China to get some loans, the international media reported that this Kenyan president has gone to get more loans despite the fact that he criticized his predecessor Uhuru Kenyatta, and he even promised to cut on borrowing. Right now, the records show that he has taken more loans than his predecessor in 1 year. If you calculate the total amount of loans that Uhuru Kenyatta took within 1 year, and the amount of loan that our president has taken within this year into office, he has taken more loans despite the fact that he sharply criticized. In fact, it was the basis of the campaigns when he said that these loans were injurious to the lives of Kenyans who are already overburdened. Today, he has forgotten his promise. Malema decided to remove his countersuits in Kenya. He came here when he was invited by, I think it was Lumumba Foundation or something, and he was asked what he thought about President William Samoei Ruto. Why? Because when William Ruto got to power, he started making utterances to the effect of a man who could be an equal of a Pan-Africanist. And he criticized the dollar. He talked about how we should not depend on dollar. He criticized the IMF and all these things. As this was happening, he was busy negotiating for loans with the IMF, the World Bank. In fact, it is those institutions that are controlling our economy. Malema thought that this was a man who would help him champion the African attitude, the African thoughts and feelings. And then, what we now call boom. When there was a Russia-African summit, and we wanted to see those who are really committed to ensure that we had an alternative to the dollar, an alternative to the dominance of the African market and trade. William Ruto never attended, neither did he send any representative. And they knew this was not the Pan-Africanist as they thought. And then there was the BRICS, this trade bloc that involves Russia, China, Brazil, South Africa, and India. And Malema thought that now we have another new kid on the block that will join us very soon because we are fighting against the dominance of the Western culture. He refused to join. And then the LGBTQ all of a sudden was allowed through the back door, through the judiciary. The GMO was allowed. All the subsidies were removed. And they knew that this was not the man they thought. Of course, Malema must have now regretted, supporting William Ruto, because he even criticized Raila, telling Raila Amolo Odinga to stop going to the streets. Because according to him, he thought Raila wanted to sabotage Ruto's government. Little did he know that we knew Ruto long before he knew him. Another person I cannot forget is the Nigerian presidential aspirant, Peter Obi, I think it's Peter Obi, who really praised William Ruto and said that his declaration as being declared as the president of Kenya was a new dawn to Africa. And when he praised William Ruto, I knew he was going to regret it, because William Ruto is a product of the US, the UK, and the European Union. It is this the very countries that reigned in the Nigerian election, and to date he's still crying foul. Malema criticized William Ruto and said, I can't place William Ruto. He talks from both sides of the mouth. Let me tell you, BBC did not say anything that we have not said before. BBC did not call William Ruto any name that we have not called before, because Zakayo Mtoza Ushuru is the same as the tax collector. And when they say that he is sparkling anger, it is very true, because when people went to the streets, it was because of the Finance Bill 2023 that was going even to get into our pockets to deduct what he calls housing levy. People were killed on the streets, and today people are still very tired. But I think right now people are getting tired, because many people from all quarters have begun to criticize him and telling him to his face that no, we can't take this. But I want to complete by saying the following. He once told his members of parliament that you don't need to be popular all the times. You only need to be popular at the right time. And this is a song that we need to sing so that all Kenyans can listen to it. Because in a nutshell, our president was saying that he will raise all the taxes. He will do everything he wants. But then in 2026, he will reduce all the taxes. And he will come up with a narrative that he has listened to the plea of Kenyans. And with that, because Kenyans are as forgetful as a warthog, as people go to 2027, people might just elect him. I don't know whether we are learning, but I think we are learning. Or do you think we are learning? And that is my take.